Raise call squeeze. We've got to fold the queen eight. Getting absolutely squeezed, pre-man. Getting squeezed around the block. 10-7 is not it. You start with 25,000 in this tournament. We did lose a flip, right? Yeah, we got it in with an overpair against an open ender. So a little bit, we had a little bit more equity than a flip, but. All right. Yeah, you could be right, Muggy. You could be right. At the end of the day, I think it's clear that not being racist and not being sexist isn't good enough. It's important to be actively against racism and sexism to make change. I think that is true. I think that's true. I think that's true. You have to be proactive. It's also kind of what I think about like representation and stuff, in that I see a lot of people rally against representation. But now I've kind of come to understand why I think it's important. Because things are out of whack, right? Like from my point of view anyways, things are out of whack in that if a certain race or a certain gender is getting a disproportionate amount of the opportunity to get to a certain spot, and like let's say that that's the way it was in the 60s, for example, you know? Like in the 60s, and so if you want to level the playing field, you actually have to be proactive in giving more advantages to the disadvantaged group to level it up, you know, to make up for the effect of you know, generations of inequity in certain fields. And you may say, well, that doesn't matter, or we should just put priority on one thing or over the other thing. But then it's like, well, you would say that if you were in the group that wasn't historically disadvantaged, you know? It's like, if you're on the other group, you might feel the other way, which is like, hey, we should actually make this fair. And it's a good argument. It's even if it comes at the expense of people under my own race or under my own age group that have to have, you know, a 0.5% higher GPA because of this like affirmative action, I think it makes sense because you have to be proactive to like right the wrongs of the past. You can't just be like reactive, and you can't just be like, oh, we'll make